We're going to cover chase technique. It's very important that we understand this is because this is how I'm going to want all screen and rolls played. It's basically predicated on the guy who has a vantage point of the entire play, the defensive player on the screening man to aggressively cut it off. Because at the time of a screen, this guy on the ball, say the top of the key has the ball. This defender on the ball has no idea that the screen is coming. So it's this defender's responsibility to aggressively cut it off. Anytime you're in man defense and you see a offensive player going towards the ball, that's a dead tell that it's going to be a screen situation, an on-ball screen. So once he breaks towards the ball, automatically it's your job to take that key and engage chase technique where you're running up his back. You're running up his back. So once he sets this screen up here, automatically you should, almost as if you're tethered to him like a tail, end up where the ball carrier wants to go in white technique. So you're only guarding one half of them. You're not guarding anything in front, and you're basically discouraging them from passing this way or running this way. Because what happens is this offensive screener trying to deceive him gave you a dead tail to where the ball carrier wanted to go. So we end up with this makeshift triple team because now we've got the on-ball defender here, the screener here, and then you got you here. So you got kind of this L going on. So common sense will tell you the only place that he can really go sensibly is back this way, away from the screen. Now, here's where it gets a little bit unique. It's not necessarily a switch defense. It's only a switch defense if he still decides to go against the grain and attack this screener. Because he might do that. He might say, you're cutting me off, but I'm still going to go that way because I want to. If he goes where it's easy, it's still his man. If he goes where it's hard, it's this guy who cut him off's man. And it sounds complex, but here's how I'm gonna. This is one of those things that it gets easier the more and more you do it. But just to draw up the situation, when you've got a guy here, defender here, he just came and set a pick, and you're in trail technique. So boom, you cut him off there. It seems complex, but it's very simple. All it is this. If you're the on-ball defender, if you feel this ball carrier drives you into a wall, defend the wall. Now you've got him, and he's got him. If you don't feel he's driving you into a wall, and you feel like he's driving you towards open space, then you keep him towards open space. Basically, for the on-ball defender, if you can guard him easily, guard him. Basically, that's how it is. If we're not gonna fight through screens on ball. So to reiterate, you see this creates a L. It creates a fort, creates a triple team that tells him where to go. Most times he's gonna go away from the screen if he's smart, which means this guy who was in chase technique is gonna keep his man that he chased all along. So if he decides to dive, it's this guy who's in chase's technique to dive with him, and he's still here. So I'm going to run through it real fast again from a different area. So we got an offensive guy here, offensive guy here. And he decides he wants to go to the ball. He's only going to go to the ball for one reason. So as soon as he starts to go this way, you're in chase technique. He sets this screen on your man, you're automatically there, making an L fortress. If he engages you, the guy who's in chase technique, ball comes to you, ball is yours. If he does a fake move to you and tries to go back, ball is still yours. You play the first move. If his first move is towards you, you're engaged, that's your guy. And this on-ball defender, remember, the on-ball defender's job, he should never ever make a mistake because his job is easiest. All he has to do, he doesn't know what's going on. This guy's eyes are here. but he knows his defensive player is going to be there. And all he knows is if I get ran into a screen and I feel a wall, if he goes this way and I run into a wall, this is my guy. And if he dives, I'm diving with him. If I'm not ran into a wall and I have space to guard, then I'm going to continue to guard. It's that simple. Let's say they get sexy and try to do a double screen. Few teams are going to do this. Very few teams are going to do a double screen, but just for the sake of illustration, it's the same thing. He wants to go, he's going to the ball. He's only going to the ball for one reason, to set a screen. So automatically, he's in chase technique. He gets here, boom, you're there, boom. Simultaneously, he wanted to set a screen too. He's going to the ball. He knows the only reason he's going to the ball is to set a screen. So he's in chase technique. Boom. You cut him off, boom. You see what we have here? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a quintuplet team. You see what I'm saying? This is gonna discourage people from calling screen and rolls. And it's not that it's not beatable, because it is beatable, but you gotta beat it unconventionally is what you gotta do. As a screen and roll, running a screen and roll, this is what you want to happen. This is what people, when they run games up there against every other team, this is what happens. This guy's lazy. He sees it happening, does nothing. Boom, he gets screened. He's in no man's land on him now, and he's sealed behind. So this guy could either dump it to him, opening up because he's sealed and being played too aggressively, or he could just take an aggressive drive to the hoop because this guy's in no man's land because he did nothing. This is basically applying a more aggressive responsibility to the guy who's offensive guy screening. Because if this guy screens and he comes around and you're lazy and you switch, automatically he's at a disadvantage because he just got screened. So he has positioning to cut to the hole. And automatically you're in no man's land because he has a head full of steam. He just came off of that screen and he has momentum and you're flat footed. And you're in no man's land. You just went from guarding him to guarding air to guarding him. And now you're at a disadvantage. You're probably going to foul. So instead of letting them get the momentum and them work up the head of steam, as soon as you see what they want to do, before the screen is even set, as soon as you see him break towards the ball, you're chasing him. And now you got the momentum. And he's got to react to you. Sets that screen, boom, you're already there. So he doesn't have any momentum to gain. Now, how is this beatable? You're gonna be susceptible. This is why we gotta meet up and do it a lot in person. But if you don't, if you're not heady about what to do, and he goes and sets this screen, say you chase it, and he never engages this guy, you have to stick with the screener. It's no switch if he doesn't engage you. This armball defender, it's no switch if he doesn't run you into a wall, which means it's easy to make the mistake that this screener comes, sets this screen, and dives without the ball carrier doing anything, and nobody pick him up. Because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to cut him off, and, it's not necessarily a double team. It's not necessarily a switch. It's a situational switch. So if he doesn't engage you, if he doesn't run you into a wall, then you stay here, you stay here. So when he dives, you dive with him. You don't want to get caught to where two people are on one guy. You got to really read that key of what his first move is. If he makes no first move, then you don't switch. You still have the same guy. And I'm going to preach playing and feeling as well. While you're in this positioning, you're not just going to be here. This guy's gonna have a hand on him. So in case he does get ran into a wall, he's got one hand on his defender. He can adjust. He feels him diving. This guy's gonna have one hand on him. So if he never does get engaged, he doesn't have to see him dive. He's looking at this guy playing white technique, This guy sees him, doesn't want to engage him. So if he doesn't engage him, if he doesn't engage this guy, then this is still this guy's guy. He's got a hand on him already. He decides to dive. He dives with him. Basically, I'm gonna encourage both players to have a hand on this guy, so they know, depending on him, somebody's got the dive guy. If he engages him, I feel him diving, I'm gonna dive with him. If he goes away from where the screen is set, he's feeling him, I still got him, I'm diving with him. And basically that's it. But like I said, most people running a screen and roll want to come off that screen or go away from it. They're not gonna think to set a screen and do nothing with the ball. Though that's how you would beat it and that's what you're susceptible to. But if you play your keys 100% right, that won't be open. But if there was a weakness, that would be the one. Uh, Sickness is kicking my butt right now, man. We'll run it one more time. Let's run it from a different spot. Let's say we're here. This marker not doing me any good. We'll say we're here, defender, and we're here, defender. Again, he doesn't know that a screen's gonna come. He's guarding the ball. Ball's here. He has no idea a screen is coming. So he's at a disadvantage. But you gotta use your advantages. He doesn't know. He does know. Because the only reason a guy's ever gonna go toward the ball is to set a screen. So you're at a disadvantage, you're at an advantage. Boom, you're chasing that screener. You're running up his back. It's a dead tail giveaway. Sets the screen. You're tethered to him like a tail. Soon as he gets set, you should get set. This should discourage him to go to the right. If he goes away from you and never engages you, this on-ball defender is just like nothing was ever here. It's just like nothing ever happened. It's just like chase technique never even happened. He runs away from the pick. You can guard him, so you do guard him. It's that simple. It's in you. It's just like chase technique never had happened. If that first move wasn't engaging you, he goes away from you. If he decides to dive, you dive with him. That's your man. That's still your man. Nothing switches if he goes away from you. If he decides to go against the grain and go towards you, this is your man. On ball, if you get ran into a wall, do not fight the wall. This is your man. So if he dives on ball, you're diving with him, and he just dribbled to you, which is basically backwards. So now you guys are going to be on each other. So I think that's all I got for you. This is last time. This isn't a play. This is technique playing man defense. It's the way that we're gonna attack screen and rolls. Because I go over this because we play maroon first, and white is predicated on double team and doing a loose double team of the point guard. Well, thing is, their best player isn't their point guard. So I wanted to go over some techniques for man defense because they're probably going to be in a lot more man. So if they call a screen and roll on, their best perimeter player, last thing I want is for the guy whose man is setting the screen to be complacent and letting their best player come to them. And now you got a guy with a full head of steam, a full arsenal of moves, a height advantage, and a jump shot moving uninhibited. We don't want that. We want to aggressively tell him where he's going. Same idea as white. So this is something that I'm gonna expect to see when I call man, when I call blue or green. It's something that you just gotta know to do. I'll remind you, but it's not gonna be a call that we do per se. Good luck, guys. Got a back-to-back game. Rest up. Hydrate. Good luck.